Hey guys, my name is Babu Suresh, working at IBM as a lead architect with over 20 plus years of IT industry experience. I am based out of Florida in US. I'm an AWS certified solution architect, both associate as well as a professional. I was also a Microsoft certified Azure solution architect expert. Today, we are going to be talking about AI. Before we begin, I would like to share a brief disclaimer to provide context for this video. Please take a moment to read it fully before proceeding. So why this YouTube video? What is its purpose? It all started during a dinner conversation with one of my friend asked me to explain AI. I realized that just talking wasn't enough, so I decided to create few YouTube videos for them during my personal time on weekends. Ultimately, that led to the creation of this my personal YouTube channel. Today, we are going to be talking about RAG. What is RAG? RAG is the industry buzzword nowadays called as a Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Why is it so special? Think about ChatGPT. You ask a question, it answers based on the data that is available out there. But we all know every enterprise, every company has got ton of information stored internally, mainly in Word, mainly in PDF for things like product documentation, support documentation, user manual, and the entire HR department policies and regulations and the rules, everything. Compliance related information, audit related information. This RAD technology uses the internal data to answer questions from the internal users. So that is what the RAG is all about. Today, we are going to explore some categories of RAG. One of the categories of RAG in AWS is called Knowledge Base with Vector Store. In that option, we are going to use our Word file, PDF file, and Notepad file to have some internal data. And we're going to learn how we are going to bring those data into AWS, into the RAG product, into the knowledge base using a technology called S3 vector buckets. And then we are going to ask some question to the AI engine and it would answer based on the information what is out there stored inside the Word, PDF, and Notepad. Here is the topology of the application, what we are going to build in our hands-on demo today. So to just briefly go over, we have a bigger topology here. So we are going to split this into 3 different videos because each one is going to take some time to go through it. So the very first video we're going to be doing, that is this video, the blue box, what you're looking here. So if you look at the blue box, we have AWS Cloud, which is the gray rectangle here. So inside this, we have ton of technologies and offerings. From outside wall, from our laptop, we are going to take one of our Word files, one of our PDF files, one of our text files. We are going to import into AWS, and then we will create Bedrock. Bedrock is the AWS implementation of AI. So we're going to create some Bedrock under the concept called knowledge base with vector store. So what this does is it will read our data which is out there in S3 bucket, which essentially contains our Word file, PDF file, and text file, and it will start processing for this. Before Bedrock process this data, internally it has got a concept to build a vector database. So the vector database would be built in one of the S3 buckets. And when anybody answers the question, it's going to refer to the S3 bucket and then it would respond accordingly. That is the concept. And the yellow box is what we're going to be seeing in the second video. And the rest of the entire end-to-end application we will see in the third video. So to understand better about this RAG concept, I found a very good definition in one of the AWS site. Let's play this video and it gives a very good explanation. So what you're looking in the top panel is how a typical chat GPT kind of engines would work. You ask a question and the query goes to the large language model and it answers the question based on the information what it is available for the language model out there. But in the RAG, let's see how the RAG concept works. Here is how the bigger picture of RAG looks like. So if you take a look at it, in the RAG, we have embedding models, which is another LLM engine, where it would take your unstructured data kind of things, mainly the Word file, PDF file kind of things. It will take the internal data, whatever we supply. This embedding model would take this data and it will store in a vector store database. It is a multi-dimensional vector store where it will answer user questions in a better, faster, accurate way. So in a RAG concept, this is how the entire flow of data would look like when you ask a question. It taps the vector store and it sends to the large language model and it uses its brain to answer your question. Now let us jump onto the demo. Let's get into the AWS console menu and start doing the demo. So this is how the AWS Bedrock menu would look like. If you go under Configure, Learn, and Model Access, first time when you come here, you would see all the models which is not available for request. So we're going to click some specific models like Amazon to grant us access. So as soon as you submit this for Amazon, we will be granted access to use this. So there's multiple models here, but we are going to select only Amazon and click next. And then we are going to submit this, and then the access we will be getting immediately. So that way we get to use this. Now, if you need other models, you can choose and ask for it. It will not cost you, but when you start using it, it's going to cost you. So now the model request has been updated. Now you will see the Amazon access is granted. Now we have access to the Amazon models. Let's go and do some hands-on experience. Before we do it, let's quickly take a moment and see how this Bedrock menu would look like, what options they have. There are many options here. We are going to be doing hands-on experience for most of the things one by one. So today we're going to start from the very fundamental basic concept called RAG, which is called here as a knowledge base. So today we are going to be clicking knowledge base and then doing some hands-on experience. That's what our plan is for today. Before we generate knowledge base, one important thing I would recommend is to make sure the price of your model is affordable. So how would I know what is the price of the model? Go to this URL and it will tell you the price. If you scroll down and under this option called model pricing details, there are multiple vendors out there and there are engines coming from every vendor here. One of the options we enabled is Amazon. So if you look at the Amazon, and of course you have from Meta, you have from DeepSeek, you have from Anthropic, and the one which we are going to be using today is from Amazon. So this is the website which will tell you the price for the Amazon Nova models. This gives the price for 1,000 input tokens. A token means basically it is the number of words. Typically a word or 2 words or 3 words is called tokens. How many tokens it's going to take as an input and how many tokens it's going to give as an output. So that is the price you're going to pay. The cheapest one is the micro, and depending on your use case, depending on your application, depending on your accuracy, what you need, you choose one of these models. So the very first thing we are going to be doing is the knowledge base called vector store. So this is for unstructured data. What is our unstructured data? The Word, PDF, and the Notepad files. which is in my laptop. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to upload this files into S3. So what you're looking is the S3 screen in AWS. Let's click the general purpose bucket. Let's go and create a bucket. Today we will name everything as WS1 and we will put today's date. That way we get the unique name. Let's hope this is available for us. S3 bucket 1. Okay, so this is our name. Let's hope this name is available. W3 August 9th. Let's assume this is our prefix today. Let me store here. That way that will be our prefix for today. Okay, because this is easy to delete at the end of the exercise so that we can cut down the cost. That's why I want to keep the same prefix. So let us go. So that's the only option I'm going to choose. Everything else is a default. Let's create the bucket. Okay, good. That name is available. So our bucket is created. So let's go inside the bucket. There's nothing there. We are going to upload our files. So we will upload 3 files. So before upload, let me go and show what the files are all about. So if I come back to my local laptop, there are 3 files here: the text file, PDF file, and the Word file. Let's open the Word file first. Here is our Word file would look like. This is nothing but the application. What we are doing today is the banking application. So we have a fictitious bank called Bank of Mars, which is located in the planet Mars. So the bank has got a handbook for users on how they would do it, and it has got a published date, which is in the Mars language. So essentially it is a guide for users handbook. Let's not worry about what and how, but the concept is it's a Word file and it has got some information. Similarly, let's open the PDF. PDF also has got some information for the bank users to inform the guidelines to open an account. And similarly, there is a text file, which is a notepad file. The government of Mars have put some banking regulations and what are the government rules in Mars. So that is what this text file is all about. Now we are going to upload these 3 files into S3. So let's go to the S3 and I'm going to click upload and add files. So we are in workshop 1, these 3 files. We will open this and load it. So those 3 files are here. Let's click upload. So now the files have been brought into AWS from my laptop. Very good. So now files are here. Let's go back to knowledge base and we are back in the knowledge base menu. Let's go and create our knowledge base with vector store. So this S3 vector is a new one. It keeps popping up. It's a preview. That's what we're going to be using it. So this is how the knowledge base screen would look like. Let's copy our name prefix. What is our name prefix here? So let us put the same name prefix here. That way it's easy for me to delete at the end of the sessions. So we're going to create some new service role. We will prefix with the service role. And then let's scroll down here. So we're going to choose the data source type as a S3. And of course, there will be a ton of list here. I'm sure this list will grow, but for now we are going to tap S3 because that's where we have stored our data. Let's scroll down. I'm going to choose the default, click next. And then what is our data source name? I'm going to put our prefix. That way it's easy to understand. So where is our S3 data is located? In this account. And let's point out our S3 bucket, which is this bucket. Let us choose this. And the rest of them, I'm going to choose the default one. I don't think we are going to worry about this for now. We will choose the default one, click next. And then here we have to choose the embedding models. As I said earlier in one of the definitions, There will be two engines used here in this context. The first engine is called embedding model. We have to choose that. So I'm going to choose the Amazon Titan embedding model on demand. Click apply. And the rest of them, additional configuration, I'm going to choose the default, the vector store. So this is a vector store database where we are going to be creating. It's going to ask where is this going to be located. We are going to say S3 vector. This concept is still a preview. You cannot use in production, but I'm sure it'll become production in a few weeks, few months. So we'll choose the S3, and then additional configuration, we're going to leave it default. Click next. Here is the summary of the knowledge base. We're going to click create knowledge base. Now the knowledge base will be created. At this time, let us scroll up and see. It is creating role underneath, and it will create some knowledge base units here. Let's go to the roles and make sure the roles are created there. Okay, I'm going to the IAM menu here. Let's make sure what roles are out there. Click the roles here. AWS is spinning slow. So here is the roles what we have. The one which we created, just created, is the WS1. So that role is just created now. Let's get back to the knowledge base. The knowledge base is also created. So two things got created here. One is the knowledge base itself, and other thing is the role. Now you see this button here, test knowledge base. This is disabled now. We have to enable this in order to test it. How do we enable it? The first operation what you do is called sync. Sync is here. So select here and click sync. What is the sync operation? The sync operation, what it does is you look at the S3 bucket. Our data is here. So it's going to take this S3 bucket. As we explained earlier, it's going to build the vector indexes, multi-dimensional. Where does it going to build? There's a new concept in AWS called vector buckets. You go here and it will create some buckets here, and then it will work on those buckets for answering questions. So that is what we have done. Now let us click sync. Sync is the one which will really bring the data into that bucket. So I'm going to click sync. This will take a bigger time if your data is big, but our data is smaller, so this should come quick. So it came fast. So now the data, vector index, everything is built, and this test knowledge base button is enabled. Now we are ready to test. Let's go and test this stuff. So now we have to choose the second LLM model. The first LLM model is used for embedding to create the vector. Now this is to answer the bigger context of the questions. So we have to select a model here. So I'm going to choose Amazon Pro on demand and click apply. So now we are ready to test this. So what you're looking is a very simple, very basic fundamental thing. There's a lot of advanced options available there, but we will use those, tap those as we go travel through this AI technology and journey in multiple videos and workshops. For now, what we are looking is scratching the surface, very, very basic, simple use cases. So now we are ready to test. Let us put our questions here. So now we know we have three files. One is Word, one is PDF, one is text, which has got some user handbook for the Bank of Mars, which has got some guidelines to open the account, which has got some banking regulations from the government. Let's ask questions from each of those files. So let me go to my questions, which I have prepared earlier. The first two questions comes from the Word file. The third question answer lies in the PDF file. The fourth question answer lies in the Notepad. So let's ask the first question and see whether it can answer our questions. What are the type of accounts you provide? Let's see whether it answers properly. So it says there are 7 types of accounts this bank is providing. Let us see whether that is what the Word file has got. So if you go to the Word file, if you scroll here, let us see, and I'm just scrolling down a little bit. So make the font a little smaller so that we can see. So the section 2, if you look at the section 2 type of accounts, there are only 3 accounts here. If you look at it, there are only 3 accounts. But it reports more than 3 accounts. Actually, there are, only 3 accounts. Actually, there's a 4 accounts here, 4 accounts. But our engine says 7 accounts here. Where is the other 3 comes? So if you look at the PDF, let's go to the PDF. PDF has got another 3 accounts here. The PDF has got some guidelines, and if you look at it, it says it opens. So essentially, I tricked this engine and see whether it can find answers. So here also we say there are 3 type of accounts where users can open. So this, when it builds a vector database, it found all this information. It read all this information. It says, hey, I'm seeing 3 types of accounts. So this bank is providing this type of account. Similarly, when it processed this Word file, it also found out there's 4 type of accounts. So in a summary, it said, I have an answer for you based on the information what you gave. There are 7 different accounts. So that is what I want to demonstrate here to give. When you ask question in a simple English, it needs to convert that English into a computer language and go out and find out the answers for you. So this is the basic, simple, fundamental concept of RAG, where it taps your database and answers your question. So let us see whether we can ask question, the second question. How can I contact bank? So it says this is how you contact the bank. And let us see whether that answer is correct. So if you look at the Word file, how do I contact the bank in section 1.3? So that is how you contact the bank. So that is the right answer. Let us see whether we can ask directly one question that comes out of PDF. Can you summarize the guidelines to open an account? So here is the answer. Now I'm going to upload this documents to the GitHub. You go and use these files to test your demo. But if you look at the PDF, that has got a summary of here, what are the guidelines to open an account. So that is the answer what we get. So the next question, what we are going to be asking is from the notepad. What are the banking compliance regulations? So that is the last question which we are going to type in. And it gave this answer. So if you take a look at the notepad file, which I will upload in the GitHub, you can verify it when you test it, but that is the answer what we can find inside the notepad file. One of the important things which I wanted to show is very important. Now, when it answers these questions, you look at this 1, 2, 3, 4. How do I know that this answers came from my internal data? All you need is just click this and it will tell you where the source. If you look at the source, it never went out to the internet, but it looked into the internal documents and found out. Now, there is also one more options where if you want to debug further, you click the details and it gives a lot of information about how this each chunk came from, where it came from, all those things. So this is other important information if you want to see much more in depth about the source of this answer. Let us see whether we ask some question which is not available in the RAG database. For example, what is Bedrock? Let's ask what is Bedrock. So it says I cannot find the information because Bedrock information is not stored in our Word file. Similarly, what is internet? Let's ask some obvious question. So internet is also not found, which means essentially it is not going out to the public domain to look for answers. It is just keeping all its search inside our internal database. So that is pretty much the concept of what we want to learn in terms of the hands-on demo. Let us summarize what we did today. The very first thing what we did is we went and enabled first time. This you will be doing it only once. You went and looked at the model access, and then we clicked some buttons here to get the access to some of the models here. In our case, we got the access for Amazon. Other things we didn't ask for it, but if you want, you can ask for it. That's number one. Number two, we went to the S3 bucket and we created some bucket. We brought in our files and we stored our files here. That's a number two. Number three, we came to the knowledge base here. We created some unstructured data knowledge base with vector store. And once you created, what we did is we had to sync. Sync is the operation. The sync, we did sync. You select here and then you click sync here. When you sync here, what happens underneath is it went on created a vector indexes here underneath. These are all black box. You don't need to worry about how it looks and feels inside. This is completely a machine learning which is used internally by the engines to answer questions. And finally, we did test knowledge base. We went there, we chose the LLM engine to run, and then we asked the question, and then that is how we did. Let's go and take a look at our topology and architecture. So this is the topology we spoke earlier. We have 3 files from our local laptop. We brought into AWS S3 bucket. We created a Bedrock knowledge base with vector store. We did the sync operation that took S3 data from our S3 bucket, and it built a vector multi-dimension index data store. When we ask some questions in the Bedrock, it refers to this data instead of this data. That's how this concept works. So that is how the Retrieval-Augmented Generation, which AWS calls as knowledge base, works inside this cloud platform. So this is our first video. The next video which I'm going to be posting is the yellow box, where we are going to tap the structured data. The structured data, there are 2 ways we are going to tap. One is from the Excel sheet, other one is directly from our SQL database. In our case, we are going to be using Redshift database. We will tap this. And the third video is the complete end-to-end application, where we will go to the browser and see whether we can test like a typical user what we do as if we are using a ChatGPT. So that is how we are going to be sequencing or structuring our workshop for this one and the next 2. That is all for today, folks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.